This is all a conspiracy. Don't you know that it's a conspiracy?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace.
That President Nixon video you just watched is a deep fake. It was created by a team at MIT as an educational tool to highlight how manipulated videos can spread misinformation and even rewrite history. Spreading deep fast. The good ones can chip away at our ability to discern fact from fiction, testing whether seeing is really believing. Some have playful intentions, while others can cause serious harm.
People have had high-profile examples that they put out that have been very good. And I think that moved the discussion forward, both in terms of, wow, this is what's possible with this, given enough time and resources, and can we actually tell at some point in time whether things are real or not?
Flying apart. God, you think you're safe and alive? You're already dead. Everybody. Him, you're dead already. This whole place, everything you see is gone. You're the one living in a fucking dream, Zimmerman.
A deepfake doesn't have to be a complete picture of something. It can be a small part that's just enough to really change the message of the medium.
See, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele.
A deepfake is a video or an audio clip that's been altered to change the content using deep learning models. The deep part of the deepfake that you might be accustomed to seeing often relies on a specific machine learning tool.
A GAN is a generative adversarial network, and it's a kind of machine learning technique. So in the case of deepfake generation, you have one system that's kind of create a face, for example, and then you have an adversary that is designed to detect deepfakes. And you use these two together to help this first one become very successful at generating faces that are very hard to detect. And they just go back and forth. And the better the adversary, the better the producer will be.
I think it really says something about where we are, what this point in our history looks like. When we find that there are not enough people in the country that are willing to serve in the White House and qualified to serve in the White House, who all sides of the government feel comfortable working with and who they can back, we are in a time that is increasingly fractured. And I think that's a product of the fact that, look, if you look around at the world right now, when you look at news, when you look at news coverage, when you look at every controversy that we see, something has changed. And I think that's toxic to a democracy, because if there's one thing that we have to be able to have this discussion, to be able to learn to live with people that we disagree with, we can't have a conversation about what we should do. We can't have a conversation about where we are going if we can't agree on where we are.
One of the reasons why GANs have become a go-to tool for deepfake creators is because of the data revolution that we're living in.
Deep learning has been around a long time. Neural networks were around in the 90s and they disappeared. And what happened was the internet. And the internet is providing enormous amounts of data for people to be able to train these things with, and armies of people giving it annotations. That allowed these neural networks that really were starved for data in the 90s to come to their full potential.
While this deep learning technology improves every day, it's still not perfect.
If you try to generate the entire thing, it looks like a video game, much worse than a video game in many ways. And so if people have focused on just changing very specific things like a very small part of face to make it kind of resemble a celebrity in a still image, or being able to do that and allow it to go for a few frames in a video.
Deepfakes first started to pop up in 2017 after a Reddit user posted videos showing famous actresses in porn. Today, these videos still predominantly target women, but have widened the net to include politicians saying and doing things that haven't happened.
It's a future danger, and a lot of the groups that we work with are really focused on future dangers and potential dangers and being abreast of that.
One of these interested groups has been DARPA. They sent out a call to researchers about a program called Media Forensics, also known as Metaphor.
It's a DARPA project that's geared towards the analysis of media. And originally it started off as very much focused on still imagery and detecting, did someone insert something into this image? Did someone remove something? It was before deepfakes became prominent. The project focus changed when this emerged.
At SRI International, Aaron and his team have been working across disciplines to create a multi-pronged approach for detecting deepfakes. The system they've developed is called Savvy.
So our group focused on speech, and in the context of this Savvy program, we worked with people in the Artificial Intelligence Center who are doing vision and put our technologies together to collaborate on coming up with a set of tools that can detect things like, here's the face, here's the identity of the face, it's the same person that was earlier in the video. The lips are moving. Okay, then we use our speech technology and say, can we verify that this piece of audio and this piece of audio came from the same speaker or different speaker? And then put those together as a tool that would say, if you see a face and you see the lips moving, the voice should be the same, or you want to flag something.
However, there is always a worry that making these detection systems more available could unintentionally provide deepfake creators with workarounds. If released, the methods meant to catch the altered media could potentially drive the next generation of deepfakes. As a result, these detection systems have to evolve.
Something you've said repeatedly is that you would expect and you would accept a certain punishment for your actions. If that package of punishment included working for the home team, what if someone said, help us harden our elections from attack using your skills?
I would volunteer for that instantly. You know, they wouldn't even have to pay me for that. Remember, I volunteered to work for the CIA, for the NSA. When I came forward to reveal mass surveillance, which we need to be clear, the courts have found was in fact unlawful on the part of the government, and one court said likely unconstitutional. So I have no objection to helping the government. I came forward not to burn the NSA down. I came forward to reform it, to help it return to the ideals that we're all supposed to share. Unfortunately, then Attorney General Eric Holder responded and said, we can't promise that. We won't promise that. We will promise not to torture you.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
Tommy Nation Politics.
If you lived through the Putin, Trump, Russian interference, if you followed the Mueller report and all of the concern over bots and fake accounts and the way that online propaganda can actually hit home in a big way, then, like a lot of people, you probably care about this and what to do about it, because technology certainly doesn't stay still. It keeps evolving. That brings us to this report that I wanted to tell you about tonight. The FBI with an unusual bulletin warning about what they call, quote, deep fakes. These are completely fake or false videos that can be distorted through technology to look quite real. And they can range for purposes from mischief to crime to cyber war. Now, let me give you an example. And again, this is the news, so we always want to be as clear as possible. We're reporting on this just like Russian bots, so you know about it. So you don't get tricked online, whether it's for politics or financial crime or something worse. So we want to show you an example. It's not real. This was a very kind of online infamous thing called a deepfake of a man who basically was turned into Tom Cruise.
I'm going to show you some magic. It's the real thing. I mean, it's all the real thing.
It looked a lot like Tom Cruise, but it was not Tom Cruise. He's not in that video in any way. It's what's called a deep fake. Now, the people who made this one that we're showing you say they created it as a kind of a harmless PSA, informationally. They want to raise awareness about this technology. Now, actor and director Jordan Peele waded into politics and made one involving Barack Obama.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. But someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time.
Again, if you just saw that out of context, you might think it was Obama. It wasn't. And recently, a manipulated video of Speaker Pelosi went viral. It had been slowed down to make it seem like she was slurring her words. A different approach, but again, a misleading video. Now, if world leaders can be manipulated to present information or videos that people might take as real that can go viral, well, this is a big deal. And everyone's got to be aware of it. That's the first step of inoculation.
The Democrats suck balls. Republicans suck balls. Democrats, Republicans suck balls. The Democrats, Republicans, they're all just sucking balls. These guys just suck big balls. Hey guys, Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. So today we're talking about deep fakes. Deep fakes. We ready for this? Buckle up. It's gonna be a synthetic video in which a person in an existing image or video replaced someone else's likeness. The act of faking content is not new. Deepfakes leverage power. Powerful techniques from machine learning, threat AI, cyberknife systems. August 26, 2002. Artificial intelligence can manipulate or generate video under the highest potential machine learning methods used in deepfakes are based on deep learning and involve training generative neural network architectures such as octocoders or generative adversarial networks.
There is a non-profit that was created
Again, any mission to accept it. The first was me.
Created controversy with some of the fact that journalists didn't want to narrate the fact that because, well, it was a false deepfake.
America. You blame me for interfering with your democracy, but I don't have to. You are doing it to yourselves.
We turn now to an expert who can help arm everyone. Nina Schick is an expert in misinformation, and she's the author of the new book, Deepfakes. The perfect guest. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Rejoice. Rejoice. Rejoice greatly. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. O daughter of Zion. Nascent AI. Technology is transforming geopolitics and society as a whole. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for a real-life introduction to the Twilight Zone? Who knows? All I know is that, guys, the nature of Tommy Nation Politics is to go, boldly go where no man has gone before. And so, you're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind, a journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Those broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination.
Domination politics.
The Twilight Zone.
The deep fakes, guys. That's what we're talking about today. Here on Tommy Nation Tuesday. Now, Queen, get it, little boo. Get a ball. Get a ball.
You're traveling to another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
It's Tommy Nation Politics. Get ready.